This video is sponsored by Tradecraft. Create your tags, tag your trades, store your recordings, create screenshots, and look at your statistics. You have the ability to create statistics using several widgets. You're able to place them wherever you please, having a place where you can store all your playbook trades, and you can quickly flip through them, studying all your trades. Tradecraft is more than a journal. It is a tagging software that allows you to create the statistics you need, where you have the ability to filter your trades out on an extremely deep level, allowing you to figure out exactly where your edge might be. For more information, check out the link in the description of this video or visit tradecraft.club.
What is up, everybody? In this video, we're going to go over roadmap for new traders. What should you do if you get into trading? Obviously, Tradecraft might be in it. But no, for real, let me move this thing over to the other side of the screen. So I made a video February 2022. I made this video called Trading Roadmap for New Traders. And what's interesting in this, somebody asked me about it. What's interesting in this video, this is sort of the pathway. This is when I used to trade in a closet, by the way. This was the pathway of what I think you should be doing. Research the key differences between products, comprehend order flow, get a feel for trading 1 week, 1 month tick drill, trade tag. I was talking about tagging trades back in February 2022 before Tradecraft ever existed. Record and review trades, journal, visualizations, goal setting, learn auction market theory, 1 month scalp using AMT principles and trade tag, screenshot charts, make notes of patterns. Holy fuck, I still do this shit. I haven't looked at this and somebody's like, is this still good? And I'm like, I don't know. Advanced trade tagging and playbooking for 4 months. Refine setups, hold longer, trade best setups only. Refine trades until consistency and efficiency is achieved. Let's see if I scroll down on this. Live trade, A+ setups only. Switch to demo for lesser setups. Once overall consistency is reached, full live trading. Back to demo during unfamiliar conditions. Back-to-back losing days, new strategy development, or new products. Actually, that's really fucking good, and I was going to do a video where I updated that, but I think that's actually pretty fucking valid. So if I was to, maybe I can put a little flair on it. Okay, if you want to go see that video, just, here, let me show you the title. Trading Roadmap for New Traders by Fat Cat. It was a live stream like this, so it won't be in the video tab. It'll be in the live tab section. So what I'm going to do different in this video is many years down the line. How many years ago was that, right? 4-ish years ago. There's been a lot of knowledge acquired. There's a lot of things that I think you should do. And the first one is definitely learning the different products. So what I'm going to do is go in here and let's just go to like tomorrow or some shit. I'm going to build a actual checklist. And if you guys want this, I'm going to link it in my Discord. And you can, if you have Tradecraft or whatever, you can just take the JSON file and stick it in there. So if you want the actual flowchart that I'm about to build, it will be in there. So I'm going to add a checklist, and I think this is it. So the first thing we want to do is, well, probably exactly what the fuck I said here. Give me a second. Research the key differences between products. I would still do that. research key differences, and I'll explain each product. Okay. So that would be the first place I would start. Research key differences between each product. So you want to know the difference between stocks. You want to know the difference between futures. You want to know the difference between crypto, forex, options. You want to spend time just watching material on those, maybe talking to AI, because AI was in its infancy when I made that first video, asking the differences. Be careful with AI, by the way. I highly recommend being careful with AI. Here's the thing. I think AI is only as good as the end user. So if you have no trading experience, I think it'll be kind of dumb and not give you what you need to know. One thing you need to understand is like futures is on a central exchange, so the order flow is not hidden in dark pools. Because order flow is going to be a big thing in this. Order flow is not hidden on dark pools. Market makers do not get paid rebates, apparently, in the futures products. Certain brokers might try to stimulate liquidity, but ES and NASDAQ, it looks like they don't get paid rebates for market making. Level 2 is going to be on stocks, Forex, because they have multiple exchanges. Therefore, there's multiple bids and offers on those different exchanges. Whereas ES futures, you're going to the CME exchange, you fire up your DOM, everything is there. So as far as the order flow goes, you're going to want to get to know the order flow. So we'll do research, key differences between products here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually make this one green because this is the starting point. Comprehend order flow is definitely super solid. I would recommend doing that for sure. So let me put this in here. And comprehend order flow. Amazing how that fucking video stood the test of time, actually. So I have a lot to say about order flow. First and foremost, when it comes to order flow, let's make this a little different, right? So when it comes to order flow, you want to understand the difference between bids, or I would say limits, and market orders. You really need a lot of people don't get this. You should do this. So we're gonna color gradient this fucking shit. So we had the green. We're gonna go ahead and make it a slightly darker green, like so. You want to understand the difference between limit and market orders. You want to, and I have videos on that. So if you're looking for material, I have a video on how to read a DOM, a video on limit and market orders as well. They're going to be in the live stream tab. Those videos still sort of hold up. So the next thing you're going to want to do after you understand the difference between the market and limit orders is you want a realistic sim. So when you have a realistic sim that makes you wait in queue. I've been fooled by this before, okay? So when I was new, I got onto an unrealistic sim and I thought I could just play the spread. And then when I was live trading, I did not realize that I was waiting in a fucking queue. I'm like, why the fuck's the orders not getting filled? Oh. So realistic sim that makes you wait in the queue. Woo! Okay. There's a few platforms, Jigsaw Trading. I have a discount link in the description, or Sierra Charts. Honestly, you can get away with everything on Sierra Charts. I run 2 PCs. One is just an execution PC, and the other one has Sierra Charts and all that shit. That's just personally how I do it. I don't know if you necessarily need to do that for yourself. But Sierra Charts is a motherfucker to learn. TradingView has gotten a lot better. TradingView could be a good option as well, but I really think you need to get into charting, and Jigsaw got into charting later in the fucking game. And I don't use Jigsaw's charting at all because it didn't exist, and I had Sierra Charts. So if it's not broke, don't stop using it, or whatever that saying is. All right. So Sierra's the way for sure. Yes, Sierra Charts, you can get away with it. You're going to need to fuck with the settings. They do have realistic cues on the sim. You can put in heat maps. There's all sorts of tutorials and shit. So the next thing I recommend doing is going to be tick drills. I have a lot of videos on tick drills. I recommend tick drills. I still recommend tick drills. Why should you? And I have a video on stop you're doing tick drills wrong, okay? So when it comes to the tick drills, the point of it is not to make P&L. The point of it is to learn the difference between the limit orders, the market orders, knowing where to click. Hopefully the Sierra chart DOM lets you click on the DOM, but when I'm submitting orders, I'm actually clicking on the DOM. And I think that's, in my opinion, a very fast way to trade because, for example, let me actually just pull up a session from today. So I have to switch an account real quick. I used to use Sierra, but I was messing with the settings more than trading. Well, I understand. Some people fall. That's another thing on your path. Some people just love to fuck with the settings on shit. I go hard, thank you. So let me actually pull up today's session. Because I want to, kind of just point some shit out. Okay, let's zoom in on it, and let's move my head real quick. Give me a second while I find the... So, if I click on this blue number right here... Oh, did it fucking freeze up? Am I still here? I hope I am. Okay. So if I click on this 70, I'll be added to the queue. That's a limit order, right? If I hit here, that's a limit order sell, limit order buy. Blue in, red out, red in, blue out. That's what you need to know. If you're buying, you're selling to get out. If you're selling, you're buying to get in. I haven't said that in a long time. Blue in, red out, red in, and blue out. If I click the 70, that's a limit order. I'm going to have to wait in the queue and get filled. I can mark it out by just hitting this empty cell. That's a market order. This empty cell is a market order. This empty cell is a market order. This is a limit order. Buy, limit order, sell. Just learning how to navigate the strike zone is what I call it, this little square. Just knowing where to click and learning how to build that muscle memory. Yeah, it's pretty important because you don't want to be fumble fucking around, especially in a faster environment. So just learning, just doing a tick drill. All you're doing is picking up a tick. If you lose, if you instantly get blown out, that's okay. The goal of it is just to try to get a tick. Don't be cheating. Don't be waiting in the fucking queue and putting on a spread. Fill the order and then immediately click to get out. It's a drill. I also recommend focusing on the strike zone and then using your peripherals to see all around you. If you guys are driving, focus on the very end of the road and use your peripherals to see the ends of the mirrors. There's a lot of studies done with athletes, and it's in the eyes. There's a lot of things where they view stuff differently. Professional athletes tend to have more follow-through with their eyes, like a golfer is going to look at the hole longer, look at the ball longer, and when he hits it, he's going to follow it longer than people who aren't as good. Usually pro athletes, there's something going on in the eyes. So I would recommend training your eyes. So I'm going to actually stick that in here as well. So I would tick drills, and then also, well, you want to kind of get good at the tick drills. So pick up the tick, get out for break evens if it doesn't seem like it's working. Before we get into eye exercise, I would say the next thing is called snapshotting. One of my last streams, maybe 2 streams ago, talks about snapshotting. This is episode, I don't fucking know. Anyway, snapshotting is a DOM technique I recommend. Oh, fuck, I don't even have the fucking right thing up. Let's just go back into this. So what is snapshotting? So you're going to want to have a hotkey, hopefully on a gaming mouse or a macro pad. Make sure you have macro pads set up. You want a flat key and a cancel key. Do I recommend having a market order button? Not really. A flat key is a market order. I try not to market order buy in and out, and I rather do it through there. But if you think you can get away with buttons, go ahead. You're going to want to train that way because you could get mixed up really bad. Also, for me, I have hotkeys with changing sizes and some other bullshit. So notice how I'm clearing the market orders here. So what I do is I clear it, and you can see it's 5x1. And this is a fast way to read order flow. So it goes 5x1. And then it's 42x9. Well, we got filled on a limit. I think this first trade's a fucking wash. We snapshot again, we clear it. So it goes 17x2, and then there's a 21 down here. So that's telling me the offer briefly printed here. 21 contracts. This isn't good. I need to start seeing more numbers up here. And then do we snapshot some more? No, we don't. We snapshot there. I honestly should be training in this. I haven't done it in a very fucking long time. But rapidly clearing the orders. Let's go to a different trade. So it's 7x7 here, 22, 74x3. We take a loss here. 26x81. I think I flipped this long or short. And then you can see I'm manually clearing the orders. It's called snapshotting. It's a way to read the order flow quickly, because otherwise the numbers start to stack up. This is all shit I could probably go into more detail, but we join here, and it goes 24x44. So I'm short, which this is good to see more sell orders here. Then it's 2x6, 21x1. I notice there's a lot of, and then it goes 20 right here. So that's telling me an offer briefly printed there. So what happened was this bid did tick down. So this is a great way. Then it goes 42x22. So when you're tick drilling, and I'm probably going to do an updated tick drill video in the near future or something. I'm looking at getting like a better camera and shit, and I want to shoot more videos where I'm outside or whatever. But snapshotting, definitely fucking recommend it. Tennis player is probably the best when it comes to that. Oh, eye exercise? It's only micro scalping, right? This is only for micro scalping. Well, no, it's not just for micro scalping. I scalp, and I wouldn't consider myself a micro scalper. It's a good skill set to learn, because there are going to be certain circumstances where the trade, you get into a trade and the best trades work right away. And if something ain't working, like I think I'm mostly wrong in my trading. I just happen to cut them for small wins. And that adds up. So just kind of learning that skill set, that nuance. And just knowing where to click, snapshotting, actually reading order flow, actually reading it. When you're snapshotting, you're reading the order flow. Because if you just let the numbers like come in, it's old order flow, that's no longer relevant. And if you're constantly clearing it, also just focusing intensely on those numbers. That is a good eye exercise as well. There is a video called Stop, You're Doing Tick Drills Wrong. Let me actually show it to you. So if you just come into my YouTube, I do need to reset this real quick. Right here, just type tick drills. It's this one. We'll definitely go over a lot of what I'm talking about. So snapshotting, you want to do that. Then focus, just eye exercises. Just focusing with eyes and reading all the numbers out loud. Those numbers, you should be reading them. But like 41 by 3, 3, 4, 44 by 5, 55 by 5, and just reading those numbers. I think too many people have like a DOM up and they're not actually reading the numbers. It's just kind of it's just there. I've noticed that for my come up. There's a lot of people that didn't actually read the order flow. They got a DOM or whatever, but like actually reading those numbers as you're snapshotting. So that's what I would do to get intimate with order flow. I'm not sure if there's really much else I would say you would need to do in this section. The point is not consistency. Like you're learning how the order types work, what it feels like to be in a queue, what it's like to, because they do some trappy shit. You start to feel traps, micro traps, and it's good for the exercise, reading the numbers. It's just good for you. It allows you to be faster, and speed is edge. I will say that much. Obviously, right? You have high frequency trading that relies on it. So I would say that would be a place to go. And then we're going to go to the next deal here, which let's actually see what I said. Comprehend order flow, get a feel for trading 1 week. Honestly, if I was to do some tick drilling, I would straight up do it for a straight fucking month. Just like pure training. I've talked about it in past videos, like a straight month of tick drilling. So I would actually come down here and drill for a month. So, you could probably spend a week doing a tick drill, another week snapshotting, and then 2 more weeks just sort of. It really depends, but like it's astronauts don't just fly up into space, right? Any high skilled demanding job requires training, and it's going to go a long way, in my opinion. So do it for a month. Keep coming back to it. I actually kind of want to do it myself. Now, one thing I do recommend is actually recording these sessions. So you do want to record the sessions. So I would say record sessions. You can use OBS and you can stream it to YouTube for free so you don't have a bunch of video files. With something like Tradecraft, let's just say, so this is today's session, right? So I can go like this, copy the URL, go to daily report cards. Today is the 23rd. I'll go to daily report card. You post the URL in here, and then you can do it however. You can timestamp the videos as well. I use a spreadsheet to timestamp the video where the trades are 30 seconds before the trades. You can do that. Or you can do this method where you don't have to timestamp. Start a recording on the platform, and it's at 8:27:28 at the bottom. Right? 8:27:28. So then I would go in here and go 8:27:28, add the video, and now all of the see, all the trades are right there for me, and if I need to rewind it a little bit more, I can say start 10 seconds beforehand. Let's see if it shows the entry here. Yep, there's the entry. It's a little off. But instead of me having to timestamp and do all this bullshit, because I've been doing this for years, we made it to where you can just put the fucking video in and it'll just show you where the fucking trades are when you click on it. It doesn't matter how you guys want to do it, personally, in my opinion, but with the YouTube method, this makes it easier. You can use a spreadsheet if you're balling on a budget, which is one method. So I highly recommend recording the sessions and then reviewing them. You're going to learn a lot from trade one. Literally, you're going to want to do this from fucking trade one. Okay, so right here. So you're going to want to do this. You're going to want to record your snapshotting. And you're going to want to just, drill for a month and all that shit. So when you record the sessions, the next thing you want to do, in my opinion, is you're going to start to get a feel for it pretty quickly, I imagine. Because it's just numbers and it goes up and down and you're kind of doing the same bullshit over and over. It's not like you're trying to read narrative, this is going to be a whole nother fucking can of worms we're going to go down, right? Like charting and shit. Learning the tick drill and just how the order flow is coming in. You're going to see reloading. You're going to see them spoof. You're going to be internalizing this shit. One thing I do recommend right off the fucking bat, you can do this again in a spreadsheet for free. It's whatever you guys want to do. You want to be grading your entries. Do you think it was a perfect entry? Do you think the entry was late or early? Do you think the entry was late? And do you think maybe the entry should have never happened? It was impulsive. And what about your exits? Was the exit good? Or did you need to hold more? Did you hold too long? I would use this 5 tag combo and just start tagging right off the bat. Because you want to start making it a goal to be as perfect as possible. Like if you notice some impulsiveness is starting to creep in or whatever, it is very important you identify this shit early in your trading career, because I do have a video. Let me pull it up for you. It is called, I don't know if I spelt that right. New trader psychology. Should new traders even give a fuck? You should, actually. The reason being is the P&L and patterns and the price action, the moment you start trading, you're like absorbing that shit like a sponge. So if you notice you're starting to revenge trade early in the session, like early in your career, you can start to fix that before it becomes a multi-year problem and you're unaware. And then it becomes very difficult to fucking break. The problem is the longer you go in your trading career without fixing certain fucking problems, the worse things get. So you want to be grading your entries and shit. You want to make it a goal to be as perfect as possible on the tick drill. I know I said it wasn't about money, but you should try to just... Because sometimes you're just going to get blown out. That's okay. But you want to just kind of learn that little finesse on such a small level. Really understand the order flow. Because it's going to help you. I owe my speed to doing that type of shit. Let's see. Yo, Fat Cat, how do you... Brother, there is no algo. Are this orders is by real, or is it the algos who are trying to match the future price with the underlying asset? Market makers are using technology. There's a lot of conspiracies around order flow, which I do want to talk about. So since we're on the fucking topic of order flow, let's see here. Brother, there is no algo. Yo, Fat Cat, how do you deal with IRL anxiety affecting trading performance? I don't know. I should be more cognizant of this and size down, but I'm kind of just ignore it because of impatience. Breath work, which I'll be talking about in this video, and self-hypnosis. That is the best thing. If there is no algo, how the future price track the spot price? Ask Chat GDP. I don't know. Anyways, markets are correlated. There is correlation going on. The underlying assets do... Sometimes they sync up with futures. Sometimes they desync. Russell will sync up with it. Sometimes it desyncs. These products are syncing and desyncing. Bonds affect ES. ES can affect bonds. Dollar can affect all this other bullshit. Gold can affect certain things. Crude prices can maybe affect a specific sector. Either way, if you're trading like futures indices, there's other shit that is going to affect that market. So other markets are going to affect that market. What you'll notice is when you do order flow drills, I'll tell you this, the market has got substantially thinner since I first traded. If you watch my How to Read a DOM video, you're looking at 300 to 400 bid offer. Currently, it's like under 100, 60 or some shit like that. However, the same daily volume's coming in. So what are they doing? They're doing more reloading, more iceberging, and they definitely do spoofing. You'll see them do it, but it's very subtle spoofing at times. And there's a lot of theory around what they're doing. I'm on my second read of Anna Cooling's volume price analysis book. And she talks about market maker manipulation, and it's been around since the turn of the fucking century, back in the 1900s. Wyckoff and other people have been talking about it. I see it myself. I have some videos where I talk about the order flow, like futures markets are broken or order flow doesn't work. Those two videos go more into the theory about everything. This is sort of a quest. However, it is my belief that... So here's the deal. Everybody can see order flow. So since everybody can see order flow, they're going to hide what they're doing. People are going to hide the fucking limits. They look like they're all 60 lots wide or whatever. But as soon as you get to that spread with buy orders meet the sell orders, they either start reloading right there or they start spoofing it a bit, where you'll see like an 18 lot hit. Shit like that. They'll clear it. Today there was a 6 lot and an 8 lot that took out 2 prices. So that wasn't shit. And they just pull so quick and you can't see it. You can run shit like bid offer pull on your DOM. I personally think that's useless because they pull it so quickly that by the time you notice, it's over with. Which we'll be getting more into what I think you should do from a technical perspective. When it comes to volume, there's many ways to read it. The DOM is one way. The footprint is another way. It's a hybrid between a DOM and a normal chart. You can use cumulative delta. You can use traditional volume histograms. You can use volume profile, and then there's a whole other slew of indicators that are looking at volume. There's all sorts of different ways to do it. It is, in my opinion, they do wash trade, where they trade with themselves. The thing is, the governing agency for futures is what? CTIFC or some bullshit. It's like the SEC you guys always hear about, but it's for the futures. For the longest time, market makers were a self-regulated entity. I think till 1975. So it was kind of between the exchanges and the market makers. There's obviously rules in place. You can't spoof. And spoofing is putting a large order in and then they cancel it and then it's just gone. They still fucking do that, by the way. But you could argue, hey, that's not a spoof. You'll see it. So spoofing is not legal. However, there is so much size you can get away with before it's flagged and an investigation picks it up. So what you got to understand is the market-making firms, in my opinion, they have lawyers, a lot of lawyers. And they understand the legalities of it, and they probably create loopholes to get around that shit. So they're riding the gray line of manipulation. In fact, exchanges encourage market makers to stimulate volume. How are you going to stimulate volume? By doing some fucking fuckery. Okay? Market makers are trying to pick up the spread. They're trying to work the limit orders. They're trying to do the one-tick drill you're basically attempting to do. Now, I went down this huge rabbit hole last night. My trader Chronic got into a trade we both thought was good yesterday, and then he got blasted on it, and I was just combing through the volume all fucking night long. And I was looking at 1 second charts, looking at volume histograms to see if there was anything I could pick up on how that move shifted. And as I'm looking through it, I notice on the histogram that when buying comes in, typically you want to see buying histogram go up, and then the market should go up with it. Futures doesn't seem to be doing that. You want to see it go up, and then selling comes in. When you look at a 1 second chart, there'll be large buy orders that come in, and a lot of the times they're getting reloaded, and it's not even moving the fucking market. I mean, if you look at a 1 second chart or a 3 second chart in general, and I can probably pull something up right here, actually. Let's do this. This is to mimic Jigsaw's Auction Vista, but let's go back to when the market was actually open. These are 3 tick areas. 1 tick, 2 tick, 3 tick. Notice how there's a lot of flat tops, flat bottoms. You would think there's a offer holding here, but that's not necessarily true. It'll go bid right there, and it'll quickly get hit. And this is very unnatural. There's a lot of reloading, but you'll see like large volume spikes, but the price is not fucking moving. Then it sort of drifts and moves like afterwards. So they're doing a lot of like shady shit where they're hiding. And they fucking manipulate the markets. Some people may disagree with that, but I've looked at it long enough that they fuck with the fucking markets and the order flow. Everybody can see the order flow, and if other people can see the order flow, they're going to do what they can to manipulate it right to where they don't get investigated. And also what you got to understand is some of these guys in the governing bodies, they might be getting lobbied with money by the market makers, just like our fucking politics. So you know what? Hey, I mean, Nancy Pelosi and all these other motherfuckers obviously are insider trading. Nothing happens to them. So there is a level of manipulation. The 1929 crash, there was manipulation with that. There is still manipulation to this fucking day. And as a market maker who needs to stimulate volume, you can truly see supply and demand. So you're able to kind of fuck around with the market just a little bit. That's what they're doing, just a little bit, to stimulate greed and fear, and they prey off of that. If you've traded ES for any time, you'll notice that sometimes you feel like you're buying tops and shorting bottoms, and you're just getting in on the wrong fucking side. They'll whip it to bring in retail traders like us or other people, and they prey off those emotions with these bullshit moves. And then all of a sudden, like, it took some volume to get it going, and then all of a sudden the move drops in on a lot less volume because the fucking bid pulls. That is manipulation, and they're doing a good job of hiding what the fuck their real intentions are. One thing that can help identify how they're positioning, and I made a video on it a long time ago, is cumulative delta. You can see, for example, well, let's pull something up. Like, I used to not understand this phenomenon. This is today. So the interesting thing about cumulative delta, which I still think a DOM is the way to go. I know we're on a path of building something here, but let's go into this. So notice how, like, the volume is spiking here. So it's buy orders minus sell orders. So what's happening is, I think there's a lot of wash trading. Obviously, market makers are trying to pick up the spread. The market gets stuck in those barcodes where it starts to bracket. So if you look at a 1 second chart like this, see how it like brackets, it's barcoding. There's an order flow coming in here as it goes sideways. In a lot of these little areas, so a bunch of contracts are coming in. But in my opinion, most of that volume is already flat. It's all scalping the tick because 90% of the volume is high-frequency trading. So with the delta, it kind of gets rid of the wash trading. So you're able to see what real volume is actually there. So if it's 600 by 500, well, 600 minus 500 contracts, that means when the bar moves or the price moves, there was only 100 contracts there. The rest of it is probably flat, in my opinion, or it all canceled each other out. So when you look at something like this, notice how the buying is very intense in this section, but the price is actually going down. A lot of that is being fucking reloaded. So there's a lot of absorbing going on in this section. And then as it goes down, and what's interesting is the delta does reclaim, just like price action. As the market is drifting lower, notice how the market is drifting lower right here, but it seems to be flat in the volume. What the market makers are doing in this area is they're drifting it lower to find some more sellers or potentially buyers, I would say. So they drift it low, and really the volume is relatively flat in this location. And then, and it's, when you watch it on a 1 second, it's way more intense. And then we can see the volume is drifting up. And the volume there's more volume overall here than from the open. So there's been more buying volume total, but the price action in this area is roughly flat. So now the market makers are starting to reload and hold down the market right here, and they're playing both sides. And what you'll see is when you zoom in on like these bars and shit, when you zoom in on these bars, for example, let's see here. Look, barely any volume came in right here. It looks like a doji, but you have this big red candle. So what's happening is they're kind of spoofing in there in that area, and what they do is they spoof. That's what I'm starting to notice is they spoof a little bit, just like a tick or two, and they move the market just to see if they're probing and testing to see if there's more buyers or sellers coming in. Obviously, look how wicky these candles are compared to these. So notice how this candle here, which I'll go like this, doesn't have much of a wick on the bottom, but this one does. The market makers are absorbing that price as it's going down. And if you really zoom out on a lot of this shit, you can see where there's heavy absorption in a lot of areas. So we'll kind of zoom out on the fucking thing. Now, it roughly kind of looks like it moved the same at first glance, but the price is barely above this area where the volume is substantially higher. And then over here, they were really putting in like high volume, and the market was barely moving. Like in this location, it was just drifting up. So I do recommend Anna Cooling's book, but the problem is with the volume histogram, a lot of what they're doing is being horribly fucking hidden, and they're wash trading, they're spoofing, and they're reloading. From 8 years of looking at a DOM, that is my opinion. I know some people disagree with that, but why the fuck would there not be manipulation? There's manipulation in government. The markets are huge, and 2024 was a record year, by the way, of people getting busted by governing bodies in markets. So it is happening, and you can read about the cases. Goldman Sachs, or not Gold, JP Morgan spoofed gold for 10 years, and they got busted in 2019, which wasn't that long ago. So it fucking happens. Can you talk about the order flow? So I just did that. The real question is that future orders and price influence the spot price. I don't disagree that other markets aren't influencing this, because if you watch Bitcoin futures, it sort of moves on fucking nothing because of the underlying asset. So I would agree that other shit certainly does influence ES. So correlations is a way, or just looking at other products is a way to do it. The problem is sometimes the shit is so arbitrage. Russell will move with ES at the same time. This shit is so arbitrage that by the time you see the movement, the correlated movements, it's already too fucking late. That's what I have an issue with some of this shit. The same reason people put on a trade in futures is the same reason people put on a trade in spot. Price to low, buyers see opportunity. Who trades futures? Only the short-term trader, in my opinion. Can you please talk about some of the things you learned recently about order flow? I just did. What I'm still not understanding is, what is the reason for manipulation? Who benefits from that? Is it only because they need their orders filled? Correct. So in Anna Cooling's book, I think it's chapter 2. I'm going to go through the book about 10 times because I think the second go, there's just shit I didn't miss. I missed the first go, and I'm like almost done with it on the second go. And there's just shit I'm picking up on the second go. I think it's chapter 2, I believe. She uses a fictional story about somebody named Uncle Joe who sells widgets. Well, Uncle Joe, who sells widgets, he doesn't make shit off of them. So think about it. If you're picking up a tick, you're really not making much. And again, the exchanges want volume. They want volume. They want market makers to stimulate volume. So they're going to fuck with the market to do that. So the market makers can see true supply and demand. If they're truly on both sides of the bid and offer, they know which orders are theirs and which aren't. So they're able to see where orders really are. And then also, like, payment for order flow. Come on, like fucking Robinhood. Oh, commission-free trading, but it's payment for order flow. You guys have heard payment for fucking order flow. I mean, come on. So Uncle Joe's selling his widgets, and then he's not making much money off of these fucking things. So what he does is he starts to tell his clients, hey, there's not many of these fucking things. Like, I'm going to run out. And what he noticed was there was a frenzy of buying. Greed and fear. There's a frenzy of buying. How many of you guys have FOMO'd into a trade? I have many times. I still do it at times. So as he notices that as the market is going up, there's this frenzy of fucking buying. And the entire inventory he has is like, it's running out. So he needs to start to reposition. He needs to get some of this inventory back. So what he ends up doing is start scaring people, creating fear. And then everybody starts selling back to him. So he's buying this shit on the way up, and then, you know, as it goes down, I'm probably saying it in the wrong order. Read the book. This is why I need to go through it 10 times, so that way I can fucking say the story better. But that's what they're fucking doing, man. They do spoof in the ES. And what I'm noticing is it's a test. It creates a sharp move, and people like me fall for that. Maybe you guys are better than me, but all the other traders I personally deal with, they fall for the same bullshit. Oh, it's going! And then it fucking sharply reverses on you. They do this weird little thing to test. And yes, there's a thing. They're making markets. And there are times where the market is overwhelming them and there's like a blowout. And they're kind of in a fucked position, right? They're in a really bad, you know, they have too much inventory or not enough, depending on which way the market went. So overall, they're going to have to start unloading this shit. And that's why you have these accumulation phases or these really tight consolidations. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed, but the longer a range goes on for, the more intense the blowout is. But they're doing weird shit. And as the move ground up today, they were really absorbing both ends of the move. And they're just trying to rebalance inventory. So yeah, it's to pick up a tick, but the problem is you can't just pick up a tick. You can't just pick up a fucking tick and not be in a bad position if the market runs on you, because now you're going to have to fucking get out of that position. So as we can see with the delta, they absorb substantially on some of these moves, and that is possibly the side of the market they're on. Which is really interesting. If you ever notice these V flushes, there was a V flush yesterday. Let me actually show it. I don't think I'm going to get this fucking video done all the way. Is this yesterday? Where's that fucking V flush at? There it is, right there. 3 minute. Is this the correct area? That is the correct area. Now, it is definitely more pronounced on a 30-second chart. Let's go to the 30-second. Let's go to yesterday, and let me show you this shit. You could see it in the volume, too. It was really interesting. Where's that fucking V-flush at? There it is. See how it just dumps and rips back up? Is this correct? Now notice like right here, they're holding the market, and notice this large selling, and it's even more prominent on like a fucking 1 second chart as well. Like on a smaller, like a 1 second chart, you start to see like, you'll see these delta spikes right in this area. It's like bump, 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 bump. You can even see it, I think on a volume histogram as well, but it's like it started thunking down. My 1 second data does not go all the way back. Let's see if I can just load this up real quick. Hopefully I'm looking at the right fucking V-flush. This should be it. There it is. So look at right here. The market is relatively flat, but look at the delta. Thunk, 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 thunk. So that there's definitely more selling, but look how like flat it is. So they're trying to hold the fucking market up. And then eventually they can't. And then it fucking shits itself. And then it just reverses out of nowhere. So yeah, you can kind of see you can see it when they're really trying to fucking hold it up. But then it ends up reversing. So I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. Manipulation or some bullshit. But they benefit from it. I mean, fuck. Look at pump and dump schemes, all that shit. That's market manipulation. Paul Rotter, the flipper, he manipulated the market. There's benefits to it. And if you have the ability to do it, you probably would. If I was a market maker and I could do some shady shit and not get in trouble, I would probably do it, to be fair. Let's see. Our volume delta divergence is always going to have the same concept. No. Sometimes it diverges all fucking day. Like, have market makers evolve to change tactics, and I need to always be on top of how to analyze delta. I think they can only do so much. I think the game they're playing now is the game they've been playing for a while, and I don't see them changing the game. I think multiple time frame analysis is hugely important. I couldn't tell you how to analyze the data, but they can only do so much bullshit in the order flow. And you can see what they're doing when they're reloading. The problem is like trying to figure out what side of the market they're mostly on, or how long they're going to keep fucking reloading before they're like, they fill the warehouse. Because here's the deal. They have a lot of supply, and then it all gets put out into the market, and then they have way too much supply that they need to start getting rid of it. And that's the game they play. So they're always trying to refill their warehouse, and it's hard to figure out when they're doing that, when it's done. I used to look at Delta for years and years, and now I'm kind of looking at it again because of the volume price analysis shit. And it's really interesting because I used to be like, it doesn't fucking work. Why does it diverge sometimes? Why does it go up? Then I started to realize over my career that it's because the market's being fucking manipulated. Can you please talk about the yellow glass you use? Where can I find it? Yellow glass? What do you mean by yellow glass? You mean the yellow glasses? These? Here? Amazon. They're blue light blockers. Oh, this? That is on Amazon as well. It's called a poker visor. Anyways, love you, dude. I'm currently doing 1 tick drills, and it's almost impossible to do it in the market opens, so I wait until like 2. Yeah, it gets a lot fucking more difficult. But you're learning about volatility. If he just makes more wedge to fill his inventory, the price of the wedges will slowly go to 0. So it makes sense to buy some back and then sell them back again and again. Correct. They're just on both sides. But the problem is that real buying and selling really starts to put pressure on them that they have to make the market. They're obligated to do it. And like for example, what is this? This is a 1 second. Let's do 30-second. Let's go today. They really fucking, you can see where they really reload in certain areas. I actually took a solid trade. Let me actually pull it up in here. But it was this last trade here. I do want to finish. So I get long here. Here's what I notice. Notice this giant volume, but look how wicky this bar is. So there's what that's telling me is there's heavy fucking reloading. There's heavy absorption. And then what happens is there's this sell bar. Look how big that sell bar is, but look how small the volume is. There's buying volume here, but it's so minuscule. And this bar is almost a third, almost two, you know, it's almost half the size of this bar on not much volume. So what I think is happening there is obviously the limits thin up. Let's see if we can see the limits thin up. We can't see because I didn't clear the fucking shit. See, there's too many numbers here. This is where the snapshotting would help. But there's probably levels that are getting cleared on nothing. And then they kind of retrace it really quickly, like they're covering tracks or some shit. It's like a cat burying a fucking turd or some shit, so other predators can't see it. But anyway, oh, here we go. Let's see if it does it. So, seeing it, it's kind of shaking a little bit. So they're kind of barcoding it here. That went down on a 40 lot and a 44. Let's see if that's 29. Let's see if they do it. Yeah. So 44, 57. But the problem is it retraces so goddamn fucking quickly that sometimes you'll see it go down on 8. But either way, it's going down very quickly on not much buying volume. And as you notice, it's really back and forth. It's super duper fucking choppy. And since this is delta, it's canceling out transactions. Like if it's 100 by 700, well, there's only 100 buy orders that are outstanding in this area. So what I notice on this, so I'm laughing, and what I notice is that's a very small amount of buying volume. There's no true outstanding selling volume coming in. And then when I look at the, this is a 3 second, there's just a little bit of selling up here. Overall, some buying, a little bit of selling, a little bit of buying, a little bit of buying, a little bit of selling. There's not much, there's not like hardcore selling up here from the delta perspective. And then I start to see the buyers drifting it right here, and I fucking nail it as it's drifting up because there's a reclaim here, and I'm like, oh, fuck, dude, they're probably going to take that reclaim back. And also I noticed that the buyers were pretty relentless today. There was a lot of sell-side absorption really trying to hold the market down, and it would puke at times. But, man, the fucking buyers would just keep coming back and just pressing. So, yeah, that's sort of how I'm using it in this context and shit like that. So, anyways, continuing on to what I was originally doing. So record and review the sessions. You heard my spiel about order flow, which I did want to talk about. You also are going to want to, and what we should do is actually stick this the fuck up here, and we'll just continue the flow. Okay? What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to fucking tag entries and exit. You're going to want to tag psychology as well. I highly recommend psychology. Because that will, I don't think humans are wired to do this job. We are very risk-adverse creatures, and I mean, come on. If there's a fucking lion out front, you're not gonna fuck with it. Even if you have your buddies and you all have a spear or some shit, you're most likely not gonna want to fuck with that. That's how we've evolved and just kind of stayed alive for so long. That this is just kind of like you are fucking with an animal when you trade. Psychology will be a fucking issue. I have a video called this one right here, Ideal Trading Emotions. You're going to have several tags. You're in run a loop timer. I ran loop timers. It's funny because in that fucking video, that roadmap video I showed you guys at the beginning of the video, that whole roadmap, I still fucking have done that exact thing, which is crazy. You need to be consistent in your work ethic and just the review process. I mean that really does lead into the next thing. If you want to be a consistent trader, you've got to be consistent outside of the trading room. You need to consistently do the review process, and a lot of people don't like doing it. Chronic puts them off. I put off yesterday's session, and then not half-assing it, doing breath work, which I'll talk about here in a moment, but doing the actual stuff to help with psychology, like somebody else asked me. You need to figure out where you're having problems. Are you FOMOing? Do you want to trade now? You can write this shit on a piece of paper. I used to write this shit down on a piece of paper, and I have videos where I would do it. It just, like, over the years, we built this platform, and now my work is getting more streamlined. I'm trying to make everything I do that I've preached for years faster. Like, obviously, you embed the YouTube video and it just timestamps it for you, because when I would do the review work, like finding the trade sucked. And now you just put it on there and now you can find the fucking trade. Like, just little bullshit like that I've been doing for years. So, like, patience is huge, man. You want to be tracking this. I don't have a desire to trade. And run it on a loop timer. Like, if you're having problems with psychology, which pretty much all of you at some point run into this, because when you're new, you're not even looking at jack shit. You're just trying to learn how to trade. You're like not looking at trading psychology. That's like a tomorrow problem, right? The problem with that being a tomorrow problem is you're creating fucking habits. You're reinforcing shitty fucking habits that become substantially difficult to break. I mean, multi-year traders, when I work with them, some of the shit, like just trying to break some of these habits, it takes real... you're going to carry it into your trading, and all you're going to do is think about is making money as fast as possible, and it's just not going to work out for you. This takes longer than you think, and you make a lot less money than you think. By no means am I a 7-figure fucking trader at this point. You know, when I was new, I thought I would achieve it in a year or two, right? That didn't happen. So P&L is going to be fucking with you. So FOMO is a big one. You want to be tagging it, and you just want to not do that. You want to make it a goal to not fucking do that. Doesn't matter if you have edge or a winning trading system. If you can really work on just not letting that happen, because when you look at psychology tags with other traders, if you filter a lot of the bad psychology tags out of their trading, they're consistent. And that's what I did back then in the original video, the roadmap for new traders. I I filtered out some tags, and I'm like, holy shit, if I just stop doing this and I do more of that, I'm consistent. And I really focused on that shit. It has to be part of the process every day. You're absolutely fucking correct on that. And you got to fall in love with it. So I'm looking at psychology as behavior in the market. But it also does influence you as well, you know. Maybe not you particularly, but other people as well. So patience is a huge one. Contentment is another one. If your P&L or that prior losing day is messing with your head, you're not content. If that last trade is bothering you, you're not content. That might be tilt. If anything, I would have the patience tags and the tilt tags. I just happen to run all three. But tracking your tilt, your emotions. Here's a problem. How do you fix tilt? You don't, because by the time it happens, it's too late. You have to do preventative maintenance. You got to let yourself not get there. And when you're tilted, the blood flows away from the prefrontal cortex. That's where your impulse control is. Then you're going to start FOMOing more. So if we're to look at everything again in this specific area, let me just build out this flow chart some more. You're going to want to record, tag entries, exits, and psychology right from the beginning. Even when you're tick drilling, this would be the difference between now and many years ago. I would do that. I actually tagged my fucking entries and exits when I fucking tick drilled when I was new. And I'm like, fuck, dude, I keep chasing it, or I'm not patient enough. And I would attempt to focus on just those little things. And it's hard to like get the P&L out of your fucking head, but that is the shittiest statistic. It's all these little sub-statistics that are going to help you. So you want to make it a goal to fix this shit. You want to focus on it. And you want to dial it in right from the beginning. And you want to review and record the session. Then, screenshot. I say it in the old video right here. Where is it? So tag. So this is the old video, right? Comprehend order flow, get a feel for trading a week, 1 month tick drill, trade tag, record, review the trades. Journal, visualize, goal setting. All the way the fuck back then, dude. So write up shit. You can also put your notes in the AI, and then you can ask it for common problems. You can also upload tags into it and then talk to it about it. So you need to have goals, obviously, and those goals need to be like really working on your entries, or really working on your exits, or really working on tilt, shit like that. Now, as far as the visualization process goes, which is interesting, I've come a long way since then. How do you fix it? I do recommend hypnosis if you can afford it, finding a reputable hypnotherapist. What I don't like about psychologists in general is it's just you talk to them about it's just talk therapy. It's just talk about your problems. That doesn't fix shit. You got to get into the subconscious mind. And if you look at like children, like my girlfriend's kid speaks better because they're from Belarus. She speaks better English than my girlfriend, and she learned it in like a year. So she learned it really fast, and she's really good at it. Why is it that kids can pick up languages really quickly? So just learning about the brain, the subconscious mind, learning about reprogramming yourself, self-improvement, really. Because in order to do this job, you're going to have to change as a person. Most people don't want to change. Most people are creatures of habit. So you're going to have to really attempt to go to the mental gymnasium and push through some resistance. And I've found hypnotherapy to be the best thing to work for me. Visualizations. I visualize myself back then, by the way. And by the way, back in this time, this was me just coming into consistency. Just so you fucking know. I was like, and I still follow this fucking game plan. So, I think 22, I think I made 40 grand that year or some bullshit, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's 22. But anyways, I'm just like kind of fucking having a nostalgic fucking brain fart here. Still do this shit this many years later, by the way. So, visualizing, I at the time believed I could really do this. I did everything in my power to visualize myself. What do I look like as a good trader? What does it feel like? What does my bank account look like? What does it look like when the money comes in? What does it feel like when I live trade? Just visualizing myself as much detail as possible, being as good as possible, being the best version of myself, watching myself taking trades and being patient. And just doing it to the point where I was delusional that I really thought I could do this. Because there are those of you who want to do this, but deep down inside, there's this gnawing feeling in the back of your head where you're like, I don't really know. I worked it to the point I became delusional. I was consistent. And you have to be delusionally patient, delusionally fucking calm. If traffic pisses you off, great. That's a great way to start learning how to be content. If my girlfriend is upset over what I think, I listen to her, but what I would consider is absolutely stupid, I just listen to her and let her vent and handle it calm. There is so much shit in your day-to-day you can leverage to help yourself be a better trader. Just the weirdest little shit. Like the Karate Kid. He's fucking waxing a car. Wax on, wax off. And you're like, oh, well, this doesn't make any fucking sense. But really, that is building a skill set. Bounce by Matthew Sid. Dude, you're very, I appreciate the tip. Thank you so much. So much. Any thoughts on EDMR for psych? I believe EMDR is eye movement, if I'm not mistaken. And I do use a little bit. Let me look it up real quick. Let me just double check. EDMR. I believe that is eye therapy. Yes, that is the movement. So oh, Jesus Christ, I kicked my headphones off. So I do use that. Like keeping your head straight, and now they'll do shit like side to side, and they'll have you recount trauma, and it's hard to feel the emotions when you do that. I kind of go in it a little bit. So looking up and just focusing on a point, keeping the head straight, looking up and using your peripheral vision, which, by the way, Wayne Gretzky, he was a really good hockey player. He never looked when he passed the puck. He would keep his head straight, and you could see shit out of his peripherals really good. And then he would see, like, the reflection of a guy in the fucking barrier. But looking up, focusing on peripherals, I do believe like eye techniques can help you calm down. And I do use these techniques. Breath work. I highly recommend you learn the Wim Hof technique. Do the Wim Hof technique. It's basically hyperventilating But what happens if you put EEG on your head, which are those like probes, the brain will go into delta wave state. And having your brain go into an altered state, like when you're meditating or sleeping or just super relaxed, that's when you're more likely able to reprogram the subconscious mind. There's obviously something going on with children because the kids, they can pick up languages and pick up shit really fast up until a certain age. And they're operating on a different brain state. So Wim Hof breath for sure. Whatever you can do to hit this calm space. So Wim Hof breath, meditation. I think meditation is huge, as well as the visualizations. And with all three of those, you can kind of put together hypnosis. And then also throwing in the eye shit. So if you do meditation, there's one I like to do where you're up straight. You squeeze your asshole as tight as you can. And then you want to push the eyes right here like this and squeezing and breathing. And the meditation is so much more intense. Meditations in general for me are more intense when the eyes are pushed up like this. There's something going on with eyes that access different parts of the brain so you can work through traumas. And the one gentleman who asked about EDMR or EMDR or whatever it's called, EMDR, I kind of use techniques like that. I don't know enough. I've looked into it a little bit, but I've not fully experienced it or had it facilitated on me. But certain things like that might be super helpful. Hypno breath work. I have a friend who facilitates hypno breath work sessions. So it is literally hyperventilating. So it's like 2 in breaths. It's through the nose like that. And the second breath should be faster. So it's like through the mouth. And if you just keep doing that, and then your body starts to buzz because you're hyperventilating. And then what she does is she plays music, and she just starts taking you on a journey with a like just a script. And when you do those sessions, if somebody facilitates it correctly, dude, it's fucking like, after a hypno breathwork session for like 20, 30 minutes of breathing like that, I feel completely different for 2 fucking straight days. So little shit like that, man. It's like getting into like this, really getting into the headspace of the world and learning about these things. It goes a long way in trading, because the problem is traders who are not tapping into that, they are consistently creating turmoil in their fucking lives. They're consistently fucking making the same stupid fucking mistakes. They know they're making the same fucking mistakes, and it just never seems to get fucking better. And unfortunately, there is no... This is the shortest cut, I know, which it does take effort. I think meditations in general are good. You can use the Headspace app. They might have a free version of it. That's how I first got into meditations, and I talked about it on my channel a long time ago. So what I like about meditation is I was diagnosed with ADD, so I couldn't focus. But I could focus if it was something I enjoyed. And sitting here and watching the market and doing nothing most of the time tends to get pretty fucking boring. So you get bored and you take a trade or whatever. So what I like about meditation is it creates, the mind is wandering. It's not about silencing the mind. It's just being aware of the wandering mind and then focusing on the breath. And then you start thinking about some bullshit. It's like, oh, bring it back in. And then you get better and better at bringing it back in and holding on the breath longer. Why that's good? Number one, if you can be aware of your mind wandering and you can catch it sooner, you're going to catch symptoms of tilt and FOMO a lot sooner in the session. And if you can catch it early enough, you can prevent it from getting out of control. Typically, when you notice it's a problem, it's already too late and it was festering and you weren't aware of it. So it creates awareness. And then it also creates focus. Just like the exercise of snapshotting and looking at the market orders and reading the numbers out loud as they're coming in. I'm going to make videos of this shit. Like I said, I'm going to get a new camera and I want to make like better actual videos, not live streams, and kind of go through some of this shit again. Because it needs to be updated, like snapshotting. Hypnosis is powerful, doing it before you to go to sleep. I have bad insomnia. Here's how I fall asleep. Black out the windows. It's cold as fuck. I have an acupuncture mat. I lay on my back, put on headphones, and I have my own recorded hypnosis session. I have a whole playlist on hypnosis. If you want to get into a solid hypnosis session, Gateway Experience, Wave 1, Tape 1 on YouTube, it's free. That shit is a trip. It is designed to get you to astral project. You're probably not going to do it in the first wave. I'm not telling you guys to go astral project. What's good about it is a hypnosis meditation track. They use binaural beats. They use the sound of the ocean. He uses hypnotic lingo. And it is basically a guided meditation. And it has inspired me substantially because those have been very intense. And when I run my hypnosis tracks at night, I'm able to fall asleep a lot quicker. And it is also important to focus intently, like intensely on your hypnosis track. So for me, a lot of my hypnosis tracks have been about life in general, not specific trading issues. You know, cultivating I am a consistent trader. Like that has been a hypnosis track I've listened to for years and years and years and years. And I still have it. And then there's other weird things in these tracks that I have that have actually come true. Side note, I do believe in law of attraction. I've dealt with a lot of weird shit, but that will be another story for another time on another fucking channel. So, besides that, feeling good is always good, right? So that's where I would kind of go into fixing these fucking problems. So when you're doing the actual review session, recording the trade is important because when you record the trade, seeing the trade, it can stimulate FOMO or it can stimulate tilt. Like when you look at it, at certain trades in a recording, you can be thoroughly disgusted in what you see. So for me, I want to run through a sort of delta wave quick visualization. So I do the Wim Hof breath. I get this buzzy feeling. Roll the eyes up into the head. And on the out breath, you hold. And then I just visualize myself doing what was correct on that trade, whether I didn't take it, I got a better entry, or I didn't hold it as long, whatever the specific problem is. Because every trade, FOMO is not one size fits all. Because, for example, Chronic, he would only FOMO spikes down. Some people FOMO spikes up. Some people FOMO bullshit. So all these trades are very unique. Every trade is sort of different and unique, but they have like similar flavors to them. So just like visualizing every fucking trade. And I was slacking on this shit for a long time and I'm doing it again. And it's awesome. That is how you start to fix the very specific issues. And when you visualize it, it may not feel right. It's like, you ask somebody, like, are you okay? And they're like, I'm fine. It's like, you're not fine. Don't bullshit yourself. If you feel like that gnawing feeling in the back of your head, run the process again. Be calm, meditate, put on rain sounds if you want. That's what I do. Look at the trade, visualize it until you truly feel the ideal emotion within. Do I really feel patience? If that was the problem on the trade, do I really feel patience about this piece of price action? This adds a substantial amount of time to your review process. However, it will most likely take a substantial amount of time off of the fucking learning curve. So if you spend more time on the review process now, why people want to take more time to get good at trading than they need to, I don't know. Well, I do know. It's because they don't want to do the fucking work. But you're just fucking yourself down the line. Whereas if you just do it now and you really like work through these emotions and really feel calm about whatever you're fucking looking at, over time, it starts to reflect. You go to the gym, you're not getting muscles right away. So that's sort of the how to fix it. If there's another methodology or anything that works, there might be some other methodology or something else that fucking works. Personally, I don't know of anything else. This is what I do. This is what works for me. This is what is working with other traders. If there's something else out there, I'd love to fucking hear about it. There you go. Let me stick it in here and I'll read some comments. So you want to tag, and then the next thing you want to do is obviously you're gonna want to get into mindfulness. That's what you want to do. Mindfulness, any of it. Hypnosis, breath work. And then taking that mindfulness and then using it, let's see, mindfulness during review. Now, I will say this. If you need to become delusional, I would say this is probably a must for everybody. Visualize yourself as a consistent until pure delusion. If there's anything you guys take away from this. The reason this is important is because if you really do that, you're going to probably be more inclined to actually doing the review process. But I think this is huge. I think this is massive. And this is one of the big ones that you should probably just... I did it. I just kept doing it. I kept fucking doing it. I don't know. I kept doing that. Even though I didn't fucking believe it. I didn't believe it. There was points in my career where I'm like, dude, trading's fucking impossible. There's no fucking way. How does anybody do this shit? And then I'm like, dude, is everything on the internet bullshit? And, I just kept working through my own fucking process, and then as I was like looking at my statistics, I'm like, dude, I'm actually consistent. And then I started to believe it. When you really believe in yourself, you're more likely to do it. So, isn't Winhoff just Tumo? I don't know. This is all life-changing stuff we're talking about. Learning about this stuff can truly change your life. Why does almost every trader have ADD or ADHD? I don't know. What's up, Fat Cat? Are these streamers available to rewatch after the fact? Yes, it will be. Why does every trader have ADD? I really don't know. I don't know if I buy into that shit, to be fair with you. I think focus can be learned. And I think some people just aren't interested in fucking math or English class. I was diagnosed with it, but in my opinion, hey, I have it, I can say it, right? I was put on kid meth and all that shit. I don't know, I just feel like focus can be learned. It can be a learned skill. And I try really hard to focus for longer stints, and meditation has helped with it. Which Huberman goes over that, actually, how it can help with ADD. I don't know if I really fucking believe in it, to be fair. I just think people learn differently, and I think the way schools are structured, it's only for one type of person. You know, other people have different ways to learn. If the setups are as simple as stuff that is taught on the internet, why does it take so much effort and visualization to the point where you reach consistency? Well, here's the thing. I don't know. I've been fucking rattling off for years about how difficult trading really is, dude. I mean, if people are making it look that simple and shit, I don't watch content anymore. But even when I'm but here's the thing, the content that I had consumed, they would say the same shit. John Grady talked about how it takes time to learn this shit. Merritt as well. I consumed a very specific type of content. I think there's two realms of content. The flashy money guys and the guys that just talk about trading. Like even S&B Capital going through their books and shit. How they talk about how much time. So I don't really think it really is easy. And Anna Colling's book, I'm on the second read of it. She quotes like Wyckoff or Richard Ney, and she says, "A man who thinks they can do this without sweat out the brow is mistaken." And then some trader in the 1930s said the learning curve seems to never end. And also, you got to look at how high the fucking failure rate is as well. And then just go through Reddit day trading and just read it's the same fucking bullshit over and over. So, okay, so, like I know someone who just uses moving average and is consistent. And when I try to do it, I can't. And he also described a similar process to you where he almost had to become delusional. Bro, look, I fucking sit down and I trade with some other guy. And our results are not the same. Like, I am literally fucking coaching somebody and he just cannot get the same results as me. Put it this way, dude. Tom Brady, love him, hate him, I don't really give a shit, but he's a really good quarterback. Are you going to sit down with that guy for a year and be as good as him and start winning Super Bowls? Probably not. Even if he tells you all the secrets, he trains you, you'll be better. But you ain't winning fucking Super Bowls in a year. Listen to Chat with Traders episodes, man. You're talking multiple years for some of these guys. My friend's dad, arbitrage trader for a bank, took him 15 fucking years. 15 fucking years to figure it out. There's another good Chat with Traders episode where this guy, I love this guy, 7 years. And he was like, dude, he said it was either this or nothing. He's like, if I can't figure this out, I was going to kill myself. And I'm like, damn, that's hard fucking core shit. I don't remember what episode it is, but I know a guy on a actual prop desk, and there is a trader who is also using moving averages, and it's just fucking working for him as well. which kind of leads me into my next point. S&B Capital talks about it. Oh, fuck, who's that other guy? Oh, God, who's a fucking big advocate? I forget his fucking name. He talks about it as well, but scalping. I think you're just going to have a better time if you, like, learn how to scalp. So, not necessarily micro scalping, but in the beginning, I think it's a handy skill to have. Focus on scalping and then start moving your way up. So focus on scalping. When it comes to holding trades, there is a lot of mental fucking baggage that comes with it. Holding a trade, I think, is not for the faint of heart. Whereas I can just come in and scalp, and then it's like, dude, I just make as much, if not more, at times. And so I would say focus on scalping. Definitely. Let me see what you guys are saying. I got a DX as an adult. I agree. Focus and habits are important. But the drugs changed my life for the better. Not to be a rebuttal to FC, but to anyone that thinks they might have it. What were you taking? Dextrine or some shit? They gave me Adderall and Concerta, and the problem was I felt like fucking shit. At the end of it. Like after my school sessions, I felt like shit. I do believe in supplements. I used to fuck with neurotropics a lot. And I did a lot of paracetam, which is hard to find. Paracetam with DMAE, I think it is, and choline. Because if you don't take choline with racetams, you start to get headaches. I just sort of like Adderall is it's a methamphetamine. So for me personally, I didn't like the way I felt afterwards, and I got really moody and shit. But part of me wishes I could take that shit, because goddamn, I would be a fucking super soldier on the screens. But I don't want to go. I don't know. I'm kind of a natural person. Personally for me, I don't want to go down that path. I like natural supplements and shit. And it's been so long. A couple years ago, I did take some Adderall to try it during a trading session. I just don't want to make that become like a thing. Personally, it's called Chat with Traders. Dude, you've never heard of Chat with Traders? Yeah, you definitely need to check out Chat with Traders. Dude, check out fucking Chat with Traders. Dude, when I was new, it was Chat with Traders. They have it on YouTube as well. It's Aaron Fifield doesn't fucking host anymore. This one kid, he used to host it, and then he fucking started working for a firm and shit. But some of the they got Shark on there from S&B Capital, a couple of Mike Bellafury episodes. Lance Breitstein's on there. Those ones are good. Like all the guys you might be really looking up, Merritt's on there as well. Guys you never heard of, those guys have good fucking stories. I'm on year 6 and I ain't giving up. Hey, man. Could take you, there you go. You got to commit to it. I have slow processing, so I prefer swing trades. I take Vyvanse. It's like Adderall, but smoother and no physical component. I think I did Concerta analog back in the day. Yeah, felt very methy. You know what's interesting is like the patents run up on the drugs. I think it's all dextrine as the base, and like the fucking patents run up, so they add some little extra fucking fairy dust in it to repatent it. So it's like, hey, it works fine the way like it is now, but I think Vyvanse has a slow release to it, Whereas if you take pure dextrine, which I think is the base model that started it all, it's really quick and it's over with. So focus on scalping in my opinion. If you use swing trading, I do have a buddy who works for a hedge fund and they have algorithmic trading, but it's swing trades because they don't have the infrastructure and they don't want to compete on the day trading level. Notice GAX levels on your charts a while ago. Did you find them useful? I don't know. It's like any fucking indicator. They either work or they don't. I wanted to look at order flow and options because here's the thing. What is it when they're negative gamma or short gamma? That means the the market makers are long with everybody else or some bullshit. What is it? I think it's negative gamma. That's when you get the squeezes. The thing is, so that means they would be short calls or some bullshit, and there's a lot of fucking call buying, and they're getting squeezed. The thing is, there's market makers on the put side, and that means the fucking long puts are getting put on as well, or the short puts are getting put on as well. And my theory is, if there's more order flow on, because you have short call, short put, long put. My theory is if there's more order flow on just one of those, that's when you get the squeezes. And I did look at Delta on SPX strikes for 0 day today. Because I want to know. I just want to see the fucking order flow. For me, I'm obsessed with understanding what the fuck is happening in the order flow. And for me, just looking at a level and not seeing the order flow behind it is not good enough for me. So I did put those down because it just really wasn't aiding my trading. Because I scalp. The way I scalp, I don't need it, if that makes sense. Because I'm punting for points in today's environment. I'm trying to pick up like a point or so, if we look at today, what was it? Minus 900, 5 ticks, 5 ticks, 2 ticks, 2 ticks, and then this one is definitely close to 12 or so. So I don't pick up much, and I don't really need that. And that kind of goes into the next deal, man. Scalping. I mean, that's where I would go with it. So moving on, so 1 month tags, learn auction market theory. I'll say this, when it comes to material, I would say that, am I a Nadro trader? Because I went through that, and I went through a lot of his live streams when he was doing these live deals. I'd say I'm a Nadro trader, but I'm not a Nadro trader. Narrative is huge. Narrative. The better the story, the better the trades. The better the story, the better the fucking trades. The better the story, the better the trades. Narrative. For me, multiple time frame analysis is huge. Because a lot of the shit is fractal. So we'll kind of pivot into price action. What I would recommend doing is start to learn. If I was to go into this, I would start to learn to read 30-second, and it depends on volatility, 3-second time frames. I would start to learn those time frames, learn how they work with each other. And then I would learn, we're going to start going deep here. I would learn, really like try to understand ranges. Just master ranges, micro ranges, medium ranges, large ranges. There's always ranges. Really understand the nuances of them, learn how to trade around them. Slips and reclaims. I have a video on slips and reclaims. I highly fucking recommend learning what those are as well. You can also drill these, by the way. So you can tick drill. You can also tick drill slips and reclaims. So I would say coming in here, definitely want to fucking drill these things. So understand ranges, understand slips and reclaims. As far as price action goes, and just spend time learning that shit, and then I would move up to, as a scalper, the 3-minute, the 30-minute, and 3-minute. You can kind of move those around, but understand these time frames. But I wouldn't go straight into these. I would do the 30 and the 3 at first. So read 30-minute and 3-minute time frames. And then start to learn how to put it all together. So why would I want to look at a 30-minute time frame as a scalper? Narrative. Plain and simple. Like, if the market's in a fucking... Here's the thing, dude. Like, I did not... So you want to put it all together right here. Let me see what you guys are saying. After 5 years making big money and losing it faster, I'm finally okay with 3 to 5. MGC or MNQ. Hello, Dr. Fat Cat, dig in the strategy beard. Thank you. Got to keep them guessing. So why the fuck am I picking this? I remember I had a video and I did all this high time frame analysis, and some guy goes, "You only did that for 2 fucking ticks?" Yeah, I did actually. So, narrative, man. Here's the thing. If I'm scalping a point and we're in an uptrend and you're on a 30-second or a 3-second chart, you're really not going to fucking know we're in a fucking uptrend. Like, I want to know, are we blowing out major structure? And sometimes I can get bigger layups. Sometimes I can get a bigger scalp out of the fucker where I get a point-to-point where it's like, okay, 5 points or some shit. Which for me is an absolute home run. But narrative, dude, putting it all together, which this is the Tradecraft checklist. I recommend you can do it on a piece of paper, but holy shit. This is one thing I never fucking actually did until recently. And Chronic's trading had gotten better the moment he started checklisting. I think checklisting as a scalper kind of... What it does is it helps boost clarity for the narrative. Plain and simple. Are we in an uptrend? Are we in... is the 30-minute... in a range? Is the 30-second in an uptrend? Is the 3-minute sideways? Is the 3-second looking for value? Or are all of those time frames sort of synced up where they're all trending? Because they're going through their own different auction cycles, essentially. So checklisting and going, okay, well, are they taking all the reclaims? Like, are they taking all the reclaims? Are they making channels? Dude, speak of the devil. Learn channels. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but channels are fucking really, really, really fucking lucrative at times. Oop. Channels, there are days where they are on the 30-second or whatever, they are consistently breaking the same way. Consistently. Channels can be really fucking good. There's nuance to it, but fucking channels. So running through a checklist procedure, I think once you start, here's the thing, I think once you start to get into higher time frames, the patterns get a little sloppier. Like ranges tend to trade a little cleaner on smaller time frames. You have less time and distance to deal with. The more time and distance you're putting on a trade, the more randomness you're having entering the trade. And what's probably going to happen is expect the unexpected, but really there's going to be a lot more unexpected shit that seems to pop up the longer you're fucking pushing these fucking things. Like, oh fuck, what is that? Versus a scalp, there's less randomness introduced in a fucking 50-second hold, like scalp or whatever. Channels on these smaller time frames they don't seem to be really showing up on higher time frames. But there are days where they're not reliable. Checklist it. But there are days where they are reliable and they are really fucking good. And that is the signal. And I've actually on my X at RealFatCat1, I've talked a lot about channels. I have some YouTube shorts where I go over the fucking channels. Dude, they're fucking good. Checklisting is fucking crazy because it just boosts the fucking clarity. The problem is the market, we got to understand is the market is like an oil tanker. Anna Cooling talks about this. It takes a moment for that shit to stop. So if they turn the engines off, it's still going to drift. If your checklist is like flipping and it's like, oh fuck, it's showing me shorts all of a sudden, give it some time. Because they're going to fucking fuck around and shake out a bunch of positions. We've noticed that with the checklist procedure, you need a little bit of time and a little bit more extra confirmation than what you think. Weird off topic. Why can't I goddamn stop on my rollerblades getting back? So I'm on quads. I do some crazy fucking tricks on quads. For me, it's like put the foot sideways and just lightly drag it backwards at a sort of angle like this. I would maybe watch some tutorials or some shit on how to do it. Because quads have brakes in the front, but I don't have them. I took them out so I can do toe tricks and shit. I'll have to show some footage one day. I don't know shit about rollerblades, to be fair. Watch some tutorials. What do you mean by checklist? Okay. So let's go over the checklist procedure. Let's look at a 30-second. So I'm going to run the 30-second, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the chart. I'm going to go, hey, is it in a trend today? So let's do this now. So we're on a 30-second. And let's say we sit down for the open. which will be here. Right in this zone. So I'm watching the fucking thing, and then about 9 o'clock, it's like, I'm like, okay, it's in a fucking downtrend. So I'm going to go trend. It looks like a traditional downtrend for me, and I would say it's on the short side. Then I can go on a 30-minute chart. And then what I'll do is I'll go, well, to me it's in a range, and really the open is up here. So I know we're at the top of a range, and we're just sort of breaking. So I'll go 30-minute. This is in a range, and it's kind of a sloppy slip range. And it is breaking out, but it's sort of churning on the breakout. So when I look at this, I know they're churning right here. Then I'm going to go to a 3-minute and all that other shit. And then next I want to look at other stuff. Let's go to the 30-second again. Now all of a sudden it's doing this, and it's like, wait a second, it's not in a downtrend anymore. So at this point I would be like, oh, dude, it's in a range at this point. So I'll go like this on the 32nd, and then I'll kind of like, this needs the loop. I'll go range, and it's kind of a sloppy range at this point. So this has now changed. It's like, well, that's in a range as well. This is in a range here. But now it's starting to drift up into a fucking channel. It's sort of a range, but it's not like a super awesome range. It has that effect going on in it. The problem is it's just like it's grinding up. So it's really hard to fucking say, hey, that's in a range. So at this point, I would probably go back and I would say we're in value search mode at this point because it's not really ranging. And then I'm just running through the checklist, and I go, okay, there's a channel here, and it's going up. So I'll go channel. It's an up channel. I don't know if it's reliable, though. And it broke up, so we know it broke up. Now, are there any more channels that are setting up in here? Well, there's a sort of a down one right there. And then I'm going to check, like, liquidity. I'm going to check through the liquidity. I'm going to check through the reclaims. I'm going to start just checking through a bunch of fucking shit. Are they compressing, which is like a wedge? And then I want to see if I can see like fractal compression. Like, can I clearly see it on a much higher time frame? Also been looking at fucking dojis as well. Like a doji is forming, and then the market went down, and then there's another doji below it, and then we just bounced off of it. And then we know there's a doji above it, and I want to see what happens. And then I'm going to read through my narration. This is building a narrative for me, but just like checklisting shit I should always be looking at. I should always look at channels. I should always look at reclaims. I should always look at liquidity, which are flat tops, flat bottoms. And I want to know, are we in a range? Are we in a trend? Are we in value search? And I want to see if multiple time frames are agreeing. So that's what I'm doing. I'm building a fucking narrative on that. So let's see. What is the... By the way, I don't mean with that little add a heel brake training wheel thing. I mean legit skeet braking. Do it. If you're going to do it, hopefully you're good on one foot and then just like lightly push into the ground. I'll go backwards and I'll put and slide real cool. And I just lightly slide the side of my wheels across the ground. But all my pressure's on the non-braking foot. And you're just barely digging the wheels in. It's about getting the angle. What is there to learn about channels isn't just classic support and resistance. The thing about channels is there are days where they are consistently breaking on a micro time frame. Like if I have 4 of them where they go up and they're breaking down, or they're going down and they're consistently breaking up, and I got like 4 of those in the session, and they're reliably going the same direction, I'm going to lean into that. I would say out of all the patterns, that is the one pattern that on certain days becomes super fucking reliable. Now, there are times where it continues to channel longer than you think. However, I want to make sure I have other factors of support. I don't want to lean just into the channel. But what I think is happening is like when they're channeling, they're really grinding the fucker up. And that there's a lot of stops below that, right? They're really trying to grind it up. And every time, obviously the buyers are struggling to get it up. And then they'll just slam it. At times, they'll just blow it out. Bunch of stop runs, one after another. Like the guy near the top is stop running, which triggers the next guy, which triggers the next guy, and it bum, 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 bum. You'll see it. So you try to take a trade when every time frame line up in context. No, because you don't always get that. This was an A+ setup. This was an A+ setup here, and I showed the footage earlier, but I know they're breaking out on the 30-minute. I know they're breaking out on the 30-minute. This is my entry. This is my exit. It looks like it's not much on that 3-second, but it was about a 2.5 points. And then they blew this down, so this is a reclaim. So reclaims tend to get retraced. The 30-minute is breaking out. The volume, they're not selling, even though this is dumping in hard. They're just simply not selling. And then buyers are starting to step back in. And also, I just noticed buyers were very aggressive throughout the session. So I'm playing this reclaim play right here. And at this point, the 30-second is in an uptrend. Really, all the time frames are in an uptrend at this point, but I'm just scalping it. Earlier in the session, they weren't, but now at this point, they're starting to get put into that posture. So I do on this one. I had multiple time frame shit. If we go to maybe I think yesterday, there might be an A+ trade. Let's see. I think this one's a. See, this is just a small setup. This isn't like multi heavy duty shit. You have a reclaim here. And then it seemed like they were resisting in this spot. There you go. There's your channel, by the way, which I did not fucking mark on here. But you can see them channeling it up right here. And then they're starting to break it and puke it as well. So there's a reclaim assisted on that. It also has a channel as well going for it. And then I kind of noticed that dojis tend to act like support and resistance at times. I'm looking at candles because of Anna Colling's book. So, yeah. It just depends. Thank you for your time, man. Really appreciate it. I need to catch all. Okay, see you, man. Let's continue this. So, let's talk about NADRO. Narrative, acceptance, developing value area, which I don't use, rhythm, and order flow. Narrative is important. We discussed that. Acceptance, I think, is important as well. I think early posturing on a position can be very dangerous. You want to make sure that everything is aligned. DVAs I don't use. Rhythm for sure, because ES moves in like waves, right? ES is moving in these like waves. And trying to time those waves to get into entries. Because earlier in this video, I talked about market makers and manipulation. The market makers, what I'm noticing is they'll spoof and get a fake little run. Yesterday was actually pretty bad. Yesterday they would make it look like it was breaking out a lot, and then it would promptly reverse. So it was a lot of this, like this fake out bullshit. Fake out, and then it would reverse. A head fake is what they call it. Fake out, and then they would reverse. Like really trying to get, trying to ride the wave and fading into the move. So rhythm is good. Now there are times where I'll go for a raw dog fucking breakout. But there better be like really good factors of support on that shit. Like I want to see a wedge that's compressing. I want to see other time frames signaling it as well. I want to make sure the volume is supporting it and they're not fucking reloading a lot. Just shit like that. And then O is for order flow, which I think order flow is important. I think volume is important. So auction market theory, I don't think is necessarily volume profile. I think it's just the way the market just ebbs and flows. And with the delta, you can really see when they're starting to reload certain areas. Screenshot charts and make notes of patterns. Talked about it in February 2022, and we do it here. Why do I do that? Because well, there are times where, and this is how I keep track of goals. I need every session to be as blue as possible. I shouldn't have pink in them, which I'm not doing a good job at. We had less today, which is great, but we fucked it on Monday. But what I want to do, I've made so many videos on fucking playbooking that this is the method now. But let me show you why one should screenshot. A+ scalps, let's put those on. And this happens to have the video footage with the A+ scalps. We'll take off the video footage. We'll just have the screenshots. And what I can do is I can just, let's actually go to the oldest. Let's look at some of these older ones. So just, it's good to like just look at what fucking worked. So this is telling me that there's something going on the higher time frame. Oh, I remember this. This is a nice slip setup. See how loose it is in the middle? This thing is just perfect too. Riding the wave, getting in on the rhythm. This is actually a really good fucking trade. It's got like what, 3 fucking points. That nice loose, very obvious fucking slip range. See how loose it is in the middle? Just fade the top, get out. Oh, those are fucking creme de la creme. Let's see another one. So low volume, trappy reclaim play. There's a reclaim up here. Where is it? Or is it down here? Looks like it's some like small scalp. I would have to look. This is only worth 2 ticks. Then we come into this next one. Low volume. Another one that's very similar. Got a little reclaim right there. Could have labeled these better. Like this one's labeled pretty good. A plus. So my entry is here, my exit is here. Look, getting on the wave, and it's long, A plus. So range expansion, higher time frame slip ranging. So you can see how loose it is in the middle on the higher time frame. These are massive 10-point rotations. So notice how they're puking and ripping in the middle of this section. So that's telling me it's a slip range, which goes to what I was talking about earlier. You should understand ranges intimately, understand slips. You're seeing my playbooks. Range expansion. You got a V flush, which V flushes are good to know as well. V flush test extremes, mean revert back in to 0.6. Here's 0.6 where the mean reversion is. We labeled this really nicely, actually. It's coming in. We got a reclaim up here, another reclaim here, and we hit an entry right there, and I hit this reclaim and this as well. It actually channels too. It may or may not have puked. And if we wanted to, we could look at the footage of it. Let's see what this big behemoth is. Oh, okay, so this is all a giant range in my opinion. Here's where the channels are becoming unreliable. Notice this blue one pukes down, but this one pukes up. They had a slip range, then they channeled it, and then they re-racked. So re-racking, flat bottom, which to me is a long signal when they put in flat bottoms or flat tops, and it actually holds. That's on the checklist. This becomes a mega range, and we do have a reclaim here. It's a decent looking range, and I just, as it's compressing up there, I just hit into it and ride this reclaim up in that section. So, I mean, reclaims are really a backbone of what the fuck it is that I do in a lot of ways. So, going back into this AMT screenshot charts, make notes of patterns. I'm telling you, dude, if you're having a bad day and you just look at some fucking playbooks, dude, you get inspired. You get fucking inspired. FC, you doing the work of a mental coach for high-performance athletes, not only a trader. I knew that psychology was a missing piece, and psychology part is lit as fuck, thanks. Yeah, I appreciate the love. I mean, this is a performance sport. Look at the pro gamers, dude. They got psychologists like these Counter-Strike guys and shit. Bro, they're doing fucking shit regular gamers do not do. There's a reason for it. It's no different. The problem is also what sucks is you got to do all that by yourself, and then you got to be your own accountability partner. Advanced trade tagging and playbooking. I do believe at some point you should start to like experiment with other tags. I retired a few tags on like the last stream, I think. I'm like, there's no edge here, but I want to know, does the top of the hour make a difference? What happens if I'm feeling pressure? What about my management? What about when I flip hit, when I go from long to short? Does that kill me? Statistically, it doesn't, which is mind-blowing. Just looking at the ranges and seeing where I perform better within the ranges. This is wave favor, so this is Nadro's rhythm, if you will, which is interesting because I'm not sure how that actually is performing at this point in time. I think it's in here. I've been harvesting them over some time. Here's the wave. What's interesting is like trading with the wave or against it, I seem to be doing well on both ends of the spectrum. So that's interesting. So just gathering statistics on other shit. Then refine setups, hold longer, trade best setups only. Again, really refining setups. So the hardest fucking thing to do in trading is management. So remember how I said you need to tag your fucking entries and exits? If you notice your exit tags are constantly saying you need to hold more, not because the trade gave you more. Like, I got into the trade and I knew before I got out of the trade that I could push it for more, but I don't. I'm just cutting too early. Not, oh my God, it won another 20 points or whatever. If I'm getting a lot of hold more tags, I need to figure out how much more can I really hold. Chances are, if you're seeing a lot of those, volatility is increasing and you can start to push the trades. If I'm noticing that I'm holding trades too long and I see that tag, volatility is probably contracting. People always ask, how the fuck do you know when to hold and fold? How do you know when to do this? How do you know when to do that? Putting on the trade and taking it off is the hardest fucking thing. It really is learning how to do that requires all of this other bullshit. Meditating, believing you're a fucking good trader, fucking tagging shit, drilling, learning to read this and that. I mean, it all comes down to you clicking the fucking mouse, which is arguably the hardest fucking thing to do in trading. And management will never be perfect. It is incredibly difficult to just nail shit just right. So you never trade against higher time frame narrative. I will. I absolutely will. But depending on what is going on, let's put it this way. Most of the time, the really high time frames, if it's ranging, I can trade any direction based off of that. But let's say the 3-minute is trending up. I will trade against that, but I know it's trending, and I will scalp it. If it's trending hardcore enough, depending if I'm feeling cheeky, I'll attempt to push within the trend. I think trends are deceptive because they will fucking put in the nastiest pullbacks that will blow you out at the worst fucking time. Next, so, refining the trades, dude, you got to be constantly judging and reviewing your entries and exits. You got to watch the tape. You got to watch the footage. Athletes watch the game after the game. You got to watch the game after the game. Hey, man, I noticed I'm doing something a little fucked up in the entries and exits because I'm telling you, the moment you think you're really good, you get complacent and then you drift away. It's happened to me multiple times. Refine trades until consistency is achieved. In efficiency. There should be something on scaling up in here as well. Live trade A+ setups only and switch to demos for lesser setups. Once overall consistency is reached, full live trading. Dude, if you're consistent for a month, you're probably good. Unless it was like, oh my God, consistency where you're like, ooh, that was a close one. Back to demo during unfamiliar conditions. Back-to-back losing days. New strategy development, or you're trading a new product. I still will go back and drill. I will still go back and fucking drill. So I definitely recommend that. Sizing up, there's just a point where you kind of can't get away with too much size as a scalper. It starts to become a problem. It has taken me several years many years on like 2 lots, and then many years on 4, and then 8s for some more time, and then 12s, and then now it's a problem where the orders got to get cut up a little bit to get in. I think for sizing up, I mean, if you're good for a month, size up next month. You're good for another month. Size up. You guys need to size up. And if it freaks you out, sim it. Because those goddamn P&L swings, they can be scary at a certain level. But I think it's all relative. And I'll tell you this. When you get into a nasty draw, if you get fucking slapped hard, the more you dig out of losers, the better, because you start to get desensitized to it and you realize you can do it. Like, I've taken some nasty fucking losses. I remember a 10K loss, and it took me some time to dig out of it. And after that, it wasn't a big deal. Shark, his Chat with Trader episode, I recommend. He took like a $350,000 hit. Took him like a month and a half to get out of it. And he said, once I got out of that, I'm like, wow, that wasn't so bad. So that's sort of the pathway to success. I'm going to kind of refine this a little bit. And there's a JSON file that I will put in the Discord. I just happen to do it in here. I'm going to kind of like make it prettier and shit because I do have shit to do because it's Wednesday nights and I skate on Wednesday nights. I don't know what happened to Shark specifically, but he got fucking blasted. I don't remember the details of it. He does talk about the details, but it just got out of hand for him. And I guess it just kept getting worse and worse. But yeah, I would listen to that episode. It's very interesting. But with that being said, I do need to dip out. And I'll see you guys next time.